Okay, this may be the longest you've ever gone without making a snarky comment. Starting to get concerned? Talk to me.
You realize what going with you would mean for my relationship with my family, right? I have spent months trying to make up for the fact that I left in the first place. And now you're asking me to throw all that progress away.
I'm not asking you to do anything.
But we'll break up if I don't.
This isn't an ultimatum, Jonah. I'm not making you choose.
What will happen to us if I stay?
I don't know.
So I either go with you and risk ruining things with my family, or I stay here and risk losing you. You have to see how this feels an awful lot like an ultimatum.
You want to talk ultimatums? All right, let's see. For me, it's either I stay here and risk getting killed, or, best case scenario, spend the rest of my life knowing that an obsessive deranged man who is quite literally out to kill me knows where I live, where I work, where I spend most of my time. Or I can leave and not only lose you, but Raven and the guys, and honestly, the first place that's felt like home in a really, really long time. Not to mention, I'll leave knowing that wherever I end up next, no matter what life I build for myself away from my past, I will never truly feel safe ever again. So, yes, Jonah, I'm sorry about the ultimatum. I'm sorry my trauma is such an inconvenience for you. Really. But you knew what you were getting into. I didn't trick you into being with me. You knew my history. That was never a part of me that I hid from you. If sunshine and rainbows is all you're looking for in a relationship, then might I suggest starting fun casual sex with someone with far less emotional baggage.
All right. I'm sorry. You're right. I'm being selfish. I can't even imagine the toll this has taken on you. I'm sorry. And for the record, I love you. For all your baggage and the trauma and all the good and bad things that make you the strong, brilliant, sometimes insufferable woman that you are today, I love all of it because I love all of you. All right?
But also the fun casual sex.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I love you too.
I just need time to think.
I can give you until tomorrow night. That's the best I can do.
All right.
Okay, we'll see you guys soon.
Have fun. And send lots of pictures.
Will do. I'll bring the rest of the bags to the car. We have to leave in a few minutes, all right?
Okay.
You're heading off to your dream honeymoon. Why does it look like you're about to throw up?
Because I'm about to throw up?
Nobody deserves this more than you, Tress. Hell, I don't think you've ever been on vacation.
Exactly. I've never been away from you guys for that long.
It's only for 2 weeks.
We'll be fine.
Right. Remind me what happened the last time I was gone for one day? Not even 24 hours.
We'll be fine, Tresser.
I love you guys.
We love you too.
Okay.
Oh, before you go, I need to share something. I initially wanted to casually slip it into a conversation, but I figured if I do that while Tress is away, everyone would assume the worst.
What is it?
I'm going to therapy.
Good for you.
I didn't know you were into therapy.
I wasn't. I'm not really. I haven't even tried it yet, so I don't really know how to feel about it. but it would mean a lot to Faye if I gave it a shot, so I figured.
Does she think there's something wrong with you?
Therapy's really not that big of a deal. I mean, I actually went to therapy myself for 3 years. It helped me out of some really dark times.
Noah, you don't need therapy. You're fine.
Sometimes it's good to just, talk to someone.
Do you feel like you don't have anyone to talk to? Do you feel like you can't talk to me?
No, Tress, of course I know I can.
Someone as in a professional, to help him navigate through things.
What things?
Look, it's nothing. I know I don't need therapy. It's just something that I'm doing for Faye. It's a one-time thing, just to get her off my back. So I don't want you worrying about it, alright?
Tresser, we're gonna be late.
Oh, yeah. I'm coming.
I'm fine.
I love you.
I love you too.
You know you go broke trying to handle me. Take it from someone who knows how to handle me. I'ma need that real bone kind of energy. Do you know? 'Cause you're dealing with a lot of competition. You're gonna have to do a lot of ass kissing. You know I got someone with the time you listen.
Hey,
Morning.
what's all this?
Sit.
Raven, we discussed this.
What?
Cooking me breakfast? Not exactly taking it slow.
Okay, narcissism. I'm preparing us breakfast.
You know what I mean. You're being all coupley. And we agreed that last night doesn't necessarily mean.
I know. This has nothing to do with us. I just can't bear another day of watching you chug your breakfast down. Especially when I've perfected this pancake recipe from my time working at the diner. So,
Okay, that's really good.
a breakfast you actually chew. So, today's my first day as manager.
That's exciting.
Yeah, long day ahead. I have people changing the floors, and I'll be interviewing tenants for the upstairs apartment. Also, my friend's sister's band is going to play opening night, so that's really exciting. Simon never liked the idea of live music.
Super fun.
Maybe you can drop by.
Sorry, I don't know if I can. I made other plans.
Right, of course. I should have said something earlier.
I'll try, though. Thanks for the pancakes.
Sure.
Tresser,
What?
who do you keep texting?
No one. I'm just checking on the kids.
Jesus, Tresser, it's been half an hour. I'm sorry. I know it's not easy for you letting go, but they're good kids. And far too old for you to be this anxious about leaving for 2 weeks.
Noah's going to therapy. I thought he was okay.
He is okay.
Okay, people, don't go to therapy.
It's not the big deal you're making it out to be.
Why does everyone keep saying that? You're making me feel like I'm crazy for being rightfully worried that my brother, who claims he's fine, is seeking professional help.
No one thinks you're crazy for being worried, Chesser. But people go to therapy for all sorts of reasons. And you four, especially, should be in therapy.
What's that supposed to mean?
Nothing. Forget it.
Come on. You've never shied away from commenting on my family.
Our family?
Right. Our family. So please, tell me, what exactly do you mean by we all should be in therapy?
It means your mentally unstable father who verbally and emotionally abused you committed a mass murder before taking his own life. I think talking to someone about it is, without a doubt, the right way to go.
I'm not saying that he shouldn't talk to someone, but that's what family's for. That's what I'm here for.
You're being selfish.
Selfish.
Yeah, selfish. You're making it all about you. Noah going to therapy is a good thing, whichever way you want to spin it. But here you are, upset that he's choosing a professional instead of you. Noah's 23 years old. How do you expect him to go anywhere in life if you're going to freak out whenever he tries to navigate things without you?
Guess it's true what they say about marriage. Makes you a wise ass.
Please, I've always been a wise ass. You knew exactly what you were signing up for.
Where are you?
Morning, babe.
Thank God.
Got you coffee.
Oh, you're literally a godsend.
Wow, already changing things up?
Please, I've been wanting to get rid of those god-awful green floors since the moment I stepped into this place.
Have you started interviewing people?
The first applicant should be here any minute now. I've been trying to reach both Eileen and Jonah all morning. Did you see them at the house today?
I wouldn't know. Noah and I sort of broke up last night.
What?
I mean, not exactly broke up. We're on a break.
Why? What happened?
You know Noah. He has a lot of issues, and this is his first real relationship. And there's nothing wrong with both of those statements.
Of course.
But it means we're in really, really different places in our lives. While I'm over here picturing the rest of our lives together, he's learning the ABCs of relationships. And whenever we get into a fight about something incredibly basic, like him ignoring me all day or him not wanting to have sex with me...
Don't even think about it. Let's talk in the backyard.
Whenever anything happens in our relationship, really, he blames it on his childhood, which, again, is like totally fair. He had a very complicated childhood and an even more complicated last few years. But the whole be his peace thing, I don't think I can handle that. Not when it's at the cost of my own mental health.
No, yeah, for sure.
It came to a point where he made me feel really bad about myself. Not on purpose, obviously, he'd never do that, but at the end of the day, he did. I was insecure, jealous, and seriously doubted my own worth, you know? Like everything I worked towards as a teenager, and in recent years, all that progress. I watched myself lose it over the past 2 months. I had to put my mental health first, and told him that for us to be together, he'll need to work on himself outside of our relationship. So he agreed to go to therapy.
Oh.
Yeah. He's currently in his first session.
Wow.
I don't know what's going to happen between the two of us, but I did what I needed to do for myself. And hopefully, if therapy does what I think it'll do, for him too.
I'm so proud of you.
So, Noah, what brings you to this session?
Can I be honest?
Please.
My girlfriend, well, I guess I should say ex-girlfriend, she told me we can't be together unless I see a therapist. So,
Ah.
yeah, she said I have some unresolved issues that need working on before we can be in a relationship.
You don't agree?
I mean, I know I've got some issues, but doesn't everybody? I just don't see the point of spending a ridiculous amount of money talking to someone about it. But if it gives our relationship a fighting chance and it makes her happy, I figured I'd do it.
I see.
That doesn't change the fact that I think it's a waste of both our times, though. No offense.
None taken. Well, you're already here, and like you said, you're paying for this session. Might as well make the best of it, right?
I don't even know what to talk about.
What do you think she would want you to talk about?
I guess my childhood, right? Basic start.
You had a tough childhood?
I wouldn't say tough. Complicated for sure. But we made it work because we had each other.
We?
My sisters and I. Look. There's Tresser, who's older than me. And then the younger one is Rain.
Oh, they're beautiful. You must really care about them.
Yeah, I mean, they're my entire world. It's actually the reason Faye and I, Faye, my ex-girlfriend, it's the reason we're on a break.
How so?
Well, I guess because I kept putting them first, and that didn't sit well with her as my girlfriend. But, like, my sisters have been through a lot. Tresser's had a really tough past few months with her engagement, and then Rain... Let's just say that Rain's been through a lot too.
I imagine you've been through a lot as well.
It really doesn't even begin to compare.
Can you tell me more about your relationship?
My mom died when I was 8, and my dad was pretty much gone from that point forward. So it was just the three of us. Tresser raised us both, but I helped raise Rain when Tresser went to university. So we pretty much raised each other.
That's a long time to have your life revolve around someone else.
I didn't mind it. I actually miss it.
How would you describe your relationship now?
We're still pretty close. I feel like with Rain, the more stuff she goes through, the more I feel her slipping away from me. But she always finds her way back to me, so letting go with her is a bit easier.
And with Tresser?
Things got rocky a few months back. We got into this big fight and didn't talk for weeks. We've been working on a relationship ever since, but every time I think we're on our way to going back to the way things used to be, something unexpected happens and we're back at square one.
Like what?
Everything I say here is confidential, right?
Of course. Total confidentiality.
Well, so yesterday was her wedding. She's been waiting for this moment for like the past 10 years. It's supposed to be the happiest day of her life, right? But there she is, having a meltdown over another guy skipping town. Sorry, the other guy being Simon, a close friend to the family. And she's crying to me to take her to Simon, so I do. We get there, and then they begin fighting like I've never seen them fight before. And suddenly, they're kissing! Kissing! Tresser and Simon! Like, it's my sister and my best friend. We spend most of our time together. How did I not see this coming? And it's not like I've been inattentive or anything, you know? My life literally revolves around my sisters. It's why my girlfriend broke up with me. So I've dedicated so much time and energy into making sure that I'm there for my sisters. And yet, no matter what I do, no matter how involved I am, I'm still like, from the outside looking in.
And how does that make you feel?
I don't know. Anxious? I spent my whole life knowing that my relationship with my sisters is the only certain thing in my life, you know? No matter what we go through, no matter what life throws at us, we'll always have that. If I can't count on my relationship with my sisters, the one thing that's been constant in my life, then what's the point of anything? It all just makes me feel like... I feel like...
You're not in control?
Exactly.
Would you say these feelings of anxiety have been affecting you on a daily basis?
Yeah, I'd say more often than not.
Do you find yourself struggling to control them?
I guess. I'm anxious all the time.
And have you ever been previously diagnosed with a mental health condition?
No.
Do you ever experience panic attacks?
Yeah, a couple.
How often?
Not often, I think. They only get triggered when things get really bad, like when we learned about the shooting.
When was your most recent one?
A couple of weeks ago.
What triggered it?
I'm not really comfortable talking about it. It's not really my story to tell, it's Rain's.
Of course, I understand.
Let's just say she was put in a dangerous situation, and she tried to reach me, but couldn't. And when I found out, I just felt like I couldn't breathe. And I have CAD, so when my heart starts pounding, I panic about that too. It really only lasts for a couple of minutes, but I swear, it feels like I'm dying every time. It's one of the worst feelings in the world, not even being in control of your own emotions. Do you think you can help me with that?
That's the plan.
I hate them. I hate all of them.
I like Quinn.
She breathes funny.
She breathes funny.
She does. It's like...
You're impossible.
Hey, you.
I have a name?
How long until you're done?
Installation in a place this big takes at least 1 day. Usually 2.
You have until 6 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
2 days, my ass. Where the hell are Jonah and Eileen?
Okay, I think you may be spiraling.
Hey,
Oh, thank God. One thing's on track.
Raven, this is Jazz, Phineas, Spencer, and Donnie. And you've already met Isla.
Hi, hello, welcome. The instruments are in this corner here. Make sure you watch your step. Thank you so much for doing this.
Are you kidding? This is the first gig they've booked in months. You're giving me some serious street cred.
Not even a full 24 hours since she's joined, and she's already booked us a gig.
You have to admit it's pretty dope how quickly she set this up.
I'd hold off on the I told you so's. This place looks like it's falling apart.
Oh, so there's some renovation going on. Rain said they'll definitely be done by the time we open. And Rain says Raven's looking to book live performances for every Friday and Saturday night. So, like, if we impress them and keep our attitudes in check, this might be, like, our new thing. Where's Donnie?
Hey.
Hey.
Do you have a name?
Oh, no.
Or can I just call you mine?
Oh my God.
Ew, no, what are you, like 16?
I'm 19.
Well, she's 24.
Okay. And?
And dating my brother?
My bad.
What is it with men only backing off when they know another man is involved?
Speaking of Noah, his session's almost over, and I promised I'd pick him up, so I should get going.
Rain, have you seen Jonah and Eileen?
Jonah came home this morning to send Tressor off to her honeymoon.
So he's home right now?
I mean, he was home when I left.
Did he seem off this morning? Did something happen at the wedding?
No, they both seemed fine. That's my cue.
God, I feel so nauseous.
It's your first time on a plane. I promise, once we're in the air, you'll realize there's nothing to worry about.
Well, I'm gonna go to the bathroom before we take off because I refuse to walk around while I'm 30,000 feet above ground.
Hello? Hello? Anyone there?
Okay, that's much better.
Our time is almost up, Noah, but I'll be giving you some homework.
Homework?
Cognitive behavioral therapy homework. It's a list of things that I want you to try. Some are pretty minor, like watching a movie without reading reviews beforehand, or having a different lunch every day. But there's also a couple more challenging things, like talking to a complete stranger or going somewhere you've never been. I want you to try and do as many things from this list as possible, and write about the experience, how it made you feel, what kind of thoughts you were having during it. Was it better or worse than what you were expecting? We can discuss them during our next session, should you choose to come back.
So, what do you think is wrong with me?
Nothing is wrong with you.
Fine, what's my diagnosis? Or whatever the politically correct way it is to ask that question.
I'm afraid an hour isn't long enough for me to give you a diagnosis.
Ah, come on, humor me. Make an educated guess.
I believe you have generalized anxiety disorder, or GAD. All the telltale signs are there, the fidgeting, panic attacks, racing heartbeat, but you also exhibit an intolerance of uncertainty that's prominent in individuals diagnosed with GAD. Uncertainty makes you anxious, so you control things to control their outcome, from your relationships with people, family members, colleagues, partners, to your relationship with things like the way you dress or your food intake, for example.
Food?
Eating disorders such as ARFID or avoidant restrictive food intake disorder are often associated with a psychiatric comorbidity such as anxiety. You feel like you don't have control over certain situations or your own feelings, so you restrict your food intake because that gives you a semblance of control. While I do insist that 1 hour is hardly enough time for a proper diagnosis, you took a very large step agreeing to come to therapy, even if you were coerced into it. Regardless of whether or not this is the last I'll see of you, you should be very proud of what you managed to accomplish today.
Thank you, Doctor.
How was it?
Surprisingly eye-opening.
Is this something you think you can commit to?
Yeah, I think so.
I am so proud of you. Do you want to grab something to eat before I drop you off at your house?
Sure.
Pizza?
Actually, can we try something different?
What, like burgers?
I meant something new. I heard there's a new Indian restaurant that opened a few blocks from here.
Who are you and what have you done with Noah? I have been begging you to try anything other than American junk food since the first day we met.
It's part of my homework. I need to challenge uncertainty by doing a list of new things I've never done before.
Okay, yeah, this is going to be fun.
Hey, Rain, we're gonna grab lunch. Do you want to come with?
No, thanks. I'll stay here and keep Raven company.
No, don't worry about me. Go eat with your friends.
No, it's okay.
Seriously, I'm just going to be unloading the rest of these boxes. You don't need to.
I insist.
Okay, then.
Do you want me to grab you anything to eat at least?
No, it's okay. I'll just have whatever Raven's having.
Okay. See you in a bit, babe.
See you.
Well, that was painfully awkward. Why are you avoiding her?
Is it obvious?
Yeah. You've been glued to my hip since you got here. I thought you had a thing for her.
I do have a thing for her.
Then what's the problem?
She's dating Jazz.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
What is it?
Nothing. It's probably nothing.
Tell me.
I always felt like she had a thing for you.
Right?
Like, even when you were with Bellamy.
So I'm not crazy.
God, and I thought men were confusing.
Right?
Yeah, like with Joe, for example.
Your roommate whom you have a big fat crush on?
Yeah, that's the one. So, we had sex last night.
You what?
Can you be quiet?
Tell me everything.
Okay, so it was the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Naturally.
But she, like, insists that we don't do it again.
Oh.
And, like, she's always been so sweet to me, right? Since the day I met her. But now she's so, like, standoffish. And she's really, really passionate about making sure I know that we are not together. Oh, God, you're making a face.
I'm not making a face.
You're absolutely making a face. It's bad, isn't it?
Okay, from where I'm standing, and that's just me, but it does maybe kind of sound like she, you know, hit it and quit it.
Oh, no. See, the thing is, I had my acrylics on, so I couldn't.
So?
So it wasn't a hit it and quit it because she didn't exactly hit it. Well, I guess she did hit it, but she didn't, like, get hit back.
Some sapphic women like a pillow princess.
A pillow princess.
It's like this term for women, usually sapphic women, who like to just lay there while another woman, you know, does all the work. They receive, but never give.
That's a thing?
Oh, yeah. Some people simply get off on getting people off.
So she really might have hit it and quit it.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna have to see her every day. Because she's my roommate.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds about right.
Hey, Jonah.
Hey,
Call Raven back before she bites someone's head off, maybe? And by someone, I mean me.
got it.
Hey,
How was therapy?
Good.
I'm guessing the topic of yours truly took over the session?
Actually, you didn't even come up.
Why did that seriously hurt my feelings?
Hey, there's always a next session.
So be going again?
Yeah, I think I will.
I don't know if it's really my place to say this, but that's never stopped me before, so I'm proud of you.
You know what I kept thinking during the whole thing? How the hell you could afford going to therapy for 3 years? Like, that shit's expensive.
It is. Our healthcare system sucks.
Sucks? Did you actually go to therapy? Or were you just saying that for my benefit?
No, I actually went. And to answer your question, I was what the kids call a sugar baby.
Shut up!
That's true.
Like, with a sugar mama?
Daddy.
Sugar daddy as in...
An older man, yeah.
Wow. Just when I thought I had you figured out.
In your defense, I was gone for 15 years. That's a lot of ground to cover.
Good thing we have the rest of our lives to catch up. Except I've done pretty much nothing with my life. So, it's just going to be you talking about you. I'm sure you don't mind that.
Eileen's leaving.
Leaving where?
Her abusive ex-boyfriend showed up yesterday, and it really freaked her out. She wants to skip town. She wants me to go with her.
What do you want to do?
I don't know. I don't want to leave, but I don't want her to be alone either. What would you do?
I wouldn't be able to leave Rain or Tresser.
Yeah. I don't want to leave them either. Or you. Or Raven. It's just that I'm finally in a good place. We're finally in a good place. I know we're not in the best place, but we're getting there. At least that's what I think. I mean, a few months ago, you couldn't even stand being in the same room as me. If you told me when I first came back that you and I will be having a heart-to-heart like this, I would have laughed in your face. I guess I just don't want to undo all that progress by walking out on all of you again.
It's not the same. You're not running out on us without so much as a proper goodbye, and you're not disappearing off the face of the earth like last time. You can still call or text and visit, or we can visit you wherever you end up. You've done a lot to prove yourself over the past few months. We all know that. I know that. If you want to stay because you want to stay, then do that. But don't stay because you're worried about what that'll mean for our relationship. We're gonna be fine.
Thanks.
Look, I'm only going to do this because I feel like you really need it. And because my therapist told me I have to try new things. But we will never, ever speak of this again. Got it?
Okay, I am not exactly sure where you're going with this.
Come here. So, when you say sugar baby...
Okay, yeah, this was a mistake.
I'm curious, like, are we talking full-on sex? Or did you just, like, go on dates and send feet pictures or something?
Too much? Okay, I'll take that as a yes.
Hi, pretty girl.
Hey, thanks again for giving me a second chance. I know things got a bit awkward yesterday.
I'll admit that rip the bandage kind of approach, it did throw me off, but I'm glad. You know, we powered through all that awkwardness on the first date. Besides, I wasn't gonna miss out on whatever this is.
It's, maple and butternut squash.
No, that sounds fancy as hell, because I kid you not, I've had, like, ramen noodles for literally 6 days in a row.
Shit.
Oh my god! Hi!
Hey.
Nick, this is my older sister Faye, who was just leaving.
Oh my god, you cooked in maple and butternut squash!
Hey!
It's sort of a family heirloom. We only ever prepare it for special occasions or for special people.
Faye! Get out!
Okay, I'm going. If you didn't catch that, Nick, it means he really likes you.
Faye?
Okay, bye, love you.
And you were worried we had already pushed through all the awkwardness.
Special people, huh?
Just eat your stupid squash. Are you kidding me?
Hi, princess.
How do you even have a key?
I borrowed Noah's.
Of course you did.
Nick, right?
Rain, we're kind of in the middle of something.
No, yeah, I can see that. I am starving. I couldn't grab lunch with the band because I'm avoiding Isla, so I haven't had anything to eat in like hours. And oh my god, is that maple and butternut squash? It's been like weeks since Noah brought home leftovers. Is there any left?
Rain, we're in the middle of a date.
Oh. I mean, I can get out of your hair if you could just...
In the fridge.
Love you.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
So, are you guys gonna come watch the band play?
We kind of had plans.
It's not until 2 hours, though. You can make it, right?
Live music could be fun.
Fine. Yes, we'll make it.
Thank you.
You're a menace to society. Rain, what are you doing?
Hiding Holiday is on. Pretend I'm not here.
So, Nick, tell me about yourself.
Right, well, I studied acting for 3 years. I did Broadway for some time, but now I work as a content producer. What about you?
Well, I'm currently a marine science student at USC, specifically marine conservation. I'm mostly doing research work right now, but I'm looking into field work as well.
Nice.
Yeah, and our main research revolves around figuring out a way for humans to mate with merfolks.
Uh-huh.
There's this one student who has a serious The Shape of Water situation going on with one of the mermaids. Many people think it's wholesome, but I think it's a classic case of Stockholm Syndrome. Like, there's no way for us to know for sure if the mermaid is consenting. At least not until we decode their language, you know?
Yeah, totally. Wait, what?
You really want to watch Hiding Holiday, don't you?
What? No, I'm...
Come on, let's go.
But the squash...
Will taste just as good in front of a TV.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
No, this is my favorite part!
Every Cammy part is my favorite part.
What a man, what a man, what a man.
What a mighty good man.
Yes, he is.
Oh my god. There's two of them.
What a man, what a mighty good. He's a mighty, mighty.
Okay, so everything looks fantastic. You really meet everything on my checklist. You have great credit score, you don't take much parking space, and you don't mind living over a bar for whatever reason.
The apartment I grew up in was facing a bar, so living next to one again just makes it feel like home.
Okay, cute. But also, just so you know, we keep it pretty chill over here. Chill live music, chill people. It doesn't get too crowded. Shouldn't be more disturbing than your average downstairs neighbor.
Noted.
So, now I'm just going to do this little word association game, just to make sure our personalities match. Okay?
Girl, yeah, go for it.
I'm going to say a word, and you say the first thing that comes to your mind.
Alright, got it.
Boundaries?
Important.
Okay, that's good. House parties?
Stressful.
Cleanliness.
I'm a Virgo, so do you even have to ask?
Okay. Animals.
Cute. From a distance, though.
Okay, I have to say, you're, like, perfect. I don't have other questions, but you can expect a phone call from me by Monday. I still have other applicants coming in tomorrow, so I don't want to promise anything just yet. But you're definitely the one to beat.
Thank you so much.
Did you change the floors?
Where the hell have you been?
Oh, we haven't done this in a while.
I've been trying to reach you all day. What's the point of you getting a phone if you're not going to answer it? And where the hell is Eileen? We open in 15.
Eileen isn't coming.
What do you mean she's not coming?
Her ex-boyfriend showing up freaked her out. She's leaving town.
What?
For good, I think. She says he's threatened to kill her before.
Oh my god, then she should report him.
She's had shitty experiences with the cops, said she isn't willing to put her faith in the system.
So she's just going to keep running? How is that fair?
She wants me to go with her.
You're leaving?
I don't know. She wants an answer by tonight. I was hoping you could tell me what to do.
I can't make that decision for you.
Yeah, why does everybody keep saying that?
Because it's not our decision to make.
You know, ever since I came back, everybody's been nagging me about the decisions I should have made. I should have stood up to Dad when he told me to leave. I should have called to explain. I should have come back much sooner. And now that I'm asking for advice, everybody's acting like they're above telling me what to do. Our whole dynamic is you telling me what to do.
This is different. It's your relationship.
Right, because you've never been involved in Eileen and I's relationship.
You know what I mean. It has to be your decision.
I want to stay. But I don't want her to be on her own either. She's already losing so much. The least I can do is make sure she doesn't have to face that alone.
No, yeah. None of us want that.
And I already talked to Noah. If he's fine with it, I'm sure the girls will be too. Especially when I can still visit.
It sounds to me like you've already made up your mind, so I'm not exactly sure why you're coming to me about this.
Because I want to know what you think.
What I think doesn't matter.
It matters to me.
Hey, boss.
Hey.
Are we early?
No, you're just in time. We open in like 10.
Rain isn't here yet. Why am I not surprised?
Oh my god, you've known her for a day.
And it's literally our first gig.
She's not even late.
But who knows where she is?
She's at Faye's, which is just around the block.
Okay. I was wrong.
You're an idiot, is what you are.
You should text her, though.
Wow, look at that. Oh, so easy. She's on her way.
Ezra, this is beautiful. Oh my god, there's a hot tub. This is just above and beyond. Really. Thank you. Is everything okay? You've been really quiet all the way here.
I'm just tired.
Well, we are here for 2 weeks. I guess it wouldn't hurt if we spent the first night in. We can order room service, put on a movie, maybe wine taste the entire menu. Or we can...
Hey. On the house.
Oh, wow, really?
I was roommates with the owner for a bit, so we're cool. If anyone asks, though, we're 21.
A home-cooked meal, free drinks, and a live music performance? No, this is like a month worth of dates rolled into one. I am sorry that tonight didn't go the way you planned. I know this isn't exactly what you had set up for us.
I mean, as long as you're having fun, it's chill. I do wish we had more one-on-one time so we can, like, get to know each other better. I feel like there was a lot of ground that we couldn't cover.
Like what?
I don't know.
Okay, so powering through is our thing, right?
Right.
So let's just power through a list of things that you would usually cover in the first date. Like, okay, so my name is Nick, which obviously you already know. I am actually 21. I was born on March 28th, and my big three are Aries, Sun, Pisces, Moon, and Leo, Rising.
Yeah, I don't believe in all that.
I'm gonna pretend you didn't just say that. Okay, what else? Well, I love animals, which is like, duh. My hero is my mom, and my favorite color is orange. Oh, my ultimate pet peeve is people who walk too slow. I am way too gay for that. My all-time favorite show is Pose. My go-to karaoke song is Truth Hurts by Lizzo, because, like, come on. And I tell people my biggest fear is spiders, but really, it's a fear of failure.
Oh, wow. That's a lot to take in.
Now you go.
Okay. Well, my name is Benji. I was born on December 27th.
Oh, Capricorn. Totally see it.
Right. I guess I say my hero is my dad. Or my sister. She's annoying, but she really stepped up when Dad passed. She's also, like, the nicest person I know. And a nurse, so...
Cute.
I don't really have a favorite color. But if I had to pick something, I'd go black. My favorite show was Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but now I've been leaning towards The Good Place.
A sitcom guy. Love that.
And I don't really sing karaoke.
Are you sure you're gay?
My pet peeve is people who stereotype.
Ouch.
And I guess if we're talking deep biggest fears, it'll have to be rejection. It's why this is the first real date I've been on since forever.
Okay, I just got real nervous real quick.
You're doing great. And I'm asexual.
Oh.
I'd understand if that's a deal breaker.
Not a chance. You not believing in astrology, though? Definitely a red flag. Like, you're a scientist.
Please tell me you're not implying astrology is a science.
It is.
It's a pseudoscience. You can't tell me every Aries, Capricorn, or whatever thinks the same.
Literally, no one is saying that. That's why you need to know your entire chart.
Okay.
What hour were you born?
How am I supposed to know that?
Well, ask your mom or something.
She left when I was a baby.
Oh. We did not cover that.
No, we did not.
He was born on 8:17 a.m.
Thank you.
How could you possibly know that?
I have a copy of your birth certificate. Duh.
Have you been listening in on our entire conversation?
Very much so, yes. Proud of you. Also, you called me your hero.
I called Dad my hero. You were, like, on the back burner.
You said that I am the nicest person you know.
I also said you were annoying.
See, I knew there was going to be a Taurus in your big three, and lo and behold, Taurus rising.
Oh my god, I totally see that.
And Leo moon. Please.
Hey.
Raven.
Oh, hey, you made it.
Yeah, my plans ended early, so I figured I'd stop by and see you do your thing.
I'm sorry, I have to take this. Noah, do you think you can handle managing the bar for the rest of the night?
It's your first night as manager.
I know, but there's something I need to do.
Is this about Jonah?
Yeah,
I got it.
thanks.
Hello?
Shit. Sorry, Joe, I need to go.
You realize I came here for you.
I know, I'm sorry. I just need to do something. Anything she orders, it's on the house.
Are you expecting a call from someone?
I just thought. I thought it could be one of the kids.
We just talked to Noah half an hour ago.
You're right. Force of habit, I guess.
Why are you trying to reach Simon? Better yet, why is he ignoring your phone calls?
What are you talking about? I'm not trying to reach Simon.
I checked your phone on the plane.
You checked my phone?
You were trying to reach someone who doesn't want to be reached. It couldn't be any of the kids, so I knew you were lying. I called the number you've been trying to reach all morning. Simon picked up in a matter of seconds. So I guess my 3 questions are, why are you trying to reach Simon? Why is he ignoring your calls? And why are you lying to me about it?
I can't believe you're doing this right now. We're on our honeymoon, Ezra. And you're choosing to do this? Really?
First, you don't invite him to your wedding.
So?
Then, you disappear for an hour at the wedding.
I was feeling sick. I needed fresh
You
air.
were gone for an hour, Tresser. You didn't just step outside.
You sound insane, Ezra.
And you left after I told you Simon's moving, which you didn't seem like you knew.
Why are you doing this now? It's taken us 3 years to get here. We're on our honeymoon. We're finally happy. Finally in a good place. And now you want to ruin this trip with this bullshit. Sometimes you make me feel like you don't actually want us to be together.
What happened between you and Simon, Tresser?
We had sex. It was the night that you told me that they wanted to set you up with a fake girlfriend. It was just that one night.
And when you disappeared at the wedding?
I went to see him. Just to talk to him, I swear, nothing else.
Oh, you swear.
You have to believe me.
You've been lying to my face for these past 2 months.
I wasn't lying. I didn't see a point of telling you because it has nothing to do with our relationship. We weren't even together at the time. Not technically. I wanted to pretend it didn't happen. And I wish it never happened, okay?
Don't touch me. I can't even look at you.
Ezra, please. I don't even remember it happening.
What?
I was drinking and I wasn't thinking straight.
You were blacked out?
I was basically out of it.
Was he drinking?
Not as much as me.
So you're saying he took advantage of you?
You know, he's always had a thing for me. I guess when the opportunity presented itself...
Jesus fucking Christ. So that's why he skipped town. And why he's been avoiding your calls. Is this why you went to see him?
I just wanted answers.
Fuck. Do the kids know?
No one knows.
Why didn't you tell me sooner?
I guess it's been hard coming to terms with it. I mean, he's my best friend. He helped raise Noah and Rain.
Shit. I mean, I've always hated that guy, but I thought he was like a decent man. Definitely didn't think he'd do anything like this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I wasn't there for you. Never leaving you again, okay? And I promise I won't rest until the son of a bitch pays for what he did to you.
I'm sorry. I can't walk away from them again.
Don't. You're doing what you need to do to be with your family. I never want to hear you apologize for that, not after everything you've been through to get here. If anything, I'm proud of you.
I promise we're going to do everything we can so it's safe for you to come back.
I know. And I don't care how dangerous it is for me to be here. If you ever need me to knock a bitch out for you, I will be on the first train back. That's my cue. Take care of each other. I love you guys.
We love you too.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Watching